So earlier today I made, and by earlier today I mean I just finished the sourdough bowls that I'm gonna make. And I decided at some point, instead of making split pea and ham soup, I was gonna do a bean and collard green soup because I've still got collard greens from my vegetable box and I really need to use them up, and this is an excellent way to do so. I looked up the recipe in Bitman's. Now, Bitman and I, we have an adversarial relationship. I tend to read the recipes and go, what? No! Ah! And there's a lot of yelling. So mostly what I'm using Bitman's for is an idea of like what kind of things I can throw in it and the timing on these things. His white bean and collard green soup, I basically have to throw it all out because he wants dried white beans and ham bone, and I have none of those things. So instead, what I'm going to be using is I'm going to be using bacon, a can of white beans, and a can of black beans, 1 onion instead of 2 because I'm not making that much soup. Celery, because it's always good to have celery if you've got some in the house. I'm out of carrots, so no carrots. My collard greens. And then I've got duck stock, which we made a while back, not that long ago, because it still says March on top. I've got 4 cups that are frozen, and actually 2 cups that I'd kept in the refrigerator because I thought I was going to use them, and guess what? I'm going to use them. So first, I'm going to need to cut up some bacon. Okay, now that we've put a paper towel over the mouse again, we're going to cut up some bacon on a cutting board that I can easily throw in the dishwasher. Normally I only use this one for vegetables, but I'm breaking some rules because I need the space. I like to pre-cut my bacon bits rather than cook them and then break them down because I'm lazy. If I do a whole pack, I don't even bother opening the pack. I just cut straight through the plastic and open the pack and dump them all straight into the pot. I'm only using some of my bacon. This is about 4 slices. I say about. It is exactly 4 slices of bacon. Now I've used my left hand to scoop bacon, so I'll use my right hand to press pause, and I'm going to go fry this up. While that is sizzling behind me, I can cut up my onion. So first I'm going to do that. And then I'm curious to find out if I can regrow an onion from this, so I'm just going to throw it in a little bucket of water and see what happens after a couple days. Meanwhile, oh, that was a rather large slice. The rest of the bits go into my compost. And I could use the skins to make a vegetable stock, but I don't need to right now because I have so much duck stock. But you can always use the skins and the ends of all of your vegetables to make a vegetable stock. Just boil them for a while. You're going to toss them anyway. And then we'll just dice these up. Ta-da! Now this is my favorite cutting board because it's got this little hole here. And I just shove everything in like that. And now I should probably go do something about that bacon. Okay, the bacon is doing its thing. So while it continues to do its thing, I will also prepare my celery, which is looking pretty good here. And that's just going to sit right there. I'll go back to checking on the bacon. Once the bacon is about half cooked, I'm going to add the onions, because that way the onions will kind of do their thing at the same time, and hopefully they'll end up cooked at about the same time that the bacon is done. That's my idea, at any rate. I think I could have gone away with letting the bacon cook for a little bit longer. It'll be cooked by the time it's done. Just, it won't be quite as crispy. It's also this point in the evening when I really wish that I had done the drink video first, so I'd have something to drink while I was working on this, and it would be all fancy, because like, hey look, this is a drink, and now there's a recipe for it, and I even did a video for it, and instead I think I'm just gonna have to pour myself a glass of wine. I drink wine like this, which means I need to buy a lot of it, which means I drink a lot of box wine. Cheers. I may take it back about that, oh, I threw in the onions too early kind of comment. I think actually it might all just work out fine, and now I'm going to throw in the celery. Okay, everybody's looking really good, so what I'm going to do is throw in my 4 cups of frozen duck stock, because it'll melt, you know, it's fine. It's fine, it's one big giant ice cube. It'll be fine. Fine. After some discussion with my colleague, I have now figured out how to remove the stems from the collard greens in the most efficient way possible, which is you fold it over and you do that. Yeehaw! So I will work on doing that, and then what I'll end up doing is probably just folding them over a bunch like this and roughly chopping them. Ta-da! So I'll be doing that while I wait for my duck, what is it? The duck base to basically melt? Yeah, it'll be fine. So I've now prepared all my collard greens, I've thrown all the stems into my compost, and I've got my duck stock melting, because it is one big giant ice cube, in the middle of my bacon and onions and celery. So we're just kind of waiting for that to happen, then I can throw the beans in, and then we're going to let it boil for a little while. Not too long, because we don't actually need to worry about like the beans cooking or anything like that, but we do want to make sure that the bacon and the vegetables and everything kind of gets a chance to sort of do its thing. The ice cube is melted and has completely changed the smell of the soup, which is great. It smells amazing. It's not just like bacon and onion now, it's sort of bacon and onion and stuff. And this is one of the reasons why I haven't added any seasoning to it yet, because I need to taste it. I'm really looking forward to it. But I need it to boil first before I add the beans, because I need to get everything cooking again. So right before it boils, when it doesn't burn my tongue, is hopefully when I'm going to be able to taste it, at least for the first time. Figure out if I need to add any salt or pepper or something. I realized I could move my camera because now it's less about this and a little bit more about that, but then it's still just, you know, a pot of boiling water. Anyway, we added a little bit of pepper, which means I'm going to sneeze, or not, a bay leaf and a little bit of thyme. So now, and then I threw in the beans, and now we're going to wait a bit for it to all kind of come together. Okay, now it's come to a boil and it's really quite tasty, so we're just going to throw the collard greens in. Here's the other half. I should probably give that a stir. Okay, so I didn't end up using all of the duck stock. The 2 cups that weren't frozen, I ended up just popping back in the fridge for another project. I'm sure I'll use them at some point. I still have apparently Japanese turnips, some radishes, some more bok choy, and another mystery lettuce that I have to figure out first. We'll now let this boil for about 10 minutes, or cook, maybe not boil, 10 minutes, and then it should be ready to go. Okay, it seems to be done. I just tasted and promptly burned my tongue. So, yeah, it's definitely hot. The greens did not shrink down as much as when we did the kale, when we fried it up, the bacon, which was a thing that we did yesterday. I didn't record it because I was actually doing the audio for the other recording. So I expected this to actually shrink down a little bit more, and it didn't, so next time I think I would need to remember to cut them in a little bit smaller pieces. It also, as it transpires, is a lot harder to pour it into the bread bowls than I thought it was. But they are adorable, if a little bit messy. I think they're fantastic, and I'm going to enjoy them.